Alright everybody, we are playing Reavers of Midgard. This was sent to me by Grey Fox Games, and I've got the game all set up here, and this is a big board, and these player boards will be expanding with cards on the sides and at the bottoms. So as we play, I may be moving the camera around a little bit. I've got most of the bits over here to the side off camera. You can see some, but you can't see the others. Not a big deal. You'll see me collecting them. Player here will be first player, this will be second player, and at the start of the game, first player will get 4 food and 1 favor token, second player will get 5 food and 1 favor token. Each player was also dealt 2 of these cards. They can be of any type, either red, blue, or yellow. And then what you immediately do is you collect the dice that are up here in the upper left hand corner, and then you have 3 options to use these cards. The first option is that you can place this card right here to become a leader. And what that means is that you would immediately collect the benefit depending on the color of the card that's located here to the left. And in this case, I collected one of these purple cards here. We're not going to call them by their specific name. We're just going to call them by color because that just makes it a little easier for me to be able to follow the game. This is going to go into my glory pile, but what this is basically an end-game victory condition. So like for every art card that I would collect out of these cards up here, which that'll make sense soon, I'm going to gain 1 victory point per one of those cards. So this card here I decided to place underneath. I think I had it on Raid Villages, which yes I did. And in this case what happens is whenever this action is selected right here, which we have 6 total actions, spaces, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So whenever that action space is selected, I am going to be able to get a bonus for that action being selected. So the other thing you can also do is discard the card to your glory pile, and if you do, you would immediately gain the dice that are listed up here in the right hand corner, and you can place them in any side of your player board on any of these 12 spaces that are available. So if you notice, player 2 over here kind of had a lot better cards in a sense that they started out with more dice, but this ability right here is a lot more powerful in my opinion than some of those other ones. So alright, why don't we just get the game started. There is a total of 6 rounds that will be tracked by this tracker up here. So we are in round 1. So round 1, the player here is going to select one of these 6 actions. Now, some of these actions come with a cost. Some of them are free. Typically, these 2 here are always free, okay? But these 4 over here are going to come at a cost. The cost is listed in the black border here. So if you notice this black here has nothing in it, that means it's free. It's free. This here costs 1 food and 2 treasure chests. This costs 4 food. This costs 2 food and 2 shields. This will cost you depending on what type of territory you try to subdue. And it looks like I did not fix that pile up there from where my cat decided to try to play Godzilla versus Tokyo on the player board just a minute ago before I had to shoo him away, and he is now asleep peacefully in the chair behind me. Okay, so depending on what type of territory you go after, that's what you're going to have to pay. This will all make sense as we're playing the game. So why don't we just get started? We're going to say player 1 is going to go right up here on this location. So your options is that you can either select one of these 2 piles of cards that are laying face up, or you can just draw 2 cards from the top of the deck. There's also other benefits. We're going to cover those right now though. The first thing that happens is that whoever selected this location is going to get 2 favor. Now if you were playing with more players, there's a possibility that the second player would get something bonus wise as well. But with only 2 players, typically only the first player is going to get the bonus. The second player is not going to really receive as powerful or if anything. And in this case, that is what it is. Second player is not going to receive any favor tokens, only first player. Now first player is going to select one of these 2 piles, or they are going to select that 2 from here. Well, he wants this pile here, and the reason is because that's going to give him another one of these cards here. Now the first thing you're going to do though is you are going to collect the dice that are up here in the left hand corner. You're going to roll those, and then you're going to place them on your player board. And now you're going to decide what 3 things you want to do with them. This one here I want to place down underneath here like that. So now whenever the raid village action is taken, I am going to be able to collect a lot of those cards. Now you can only have 3 cards underneath each one of these action spaces, and just in case if you guys can't see these as we're playing, I will pull them out each time and I'll just show you until you get used to it. So with this one here, I can either discard it to my glory pile and immediately get a die of my choice and put it on any side. Or if I wanted to, I can trade it out with my leader here, put him in my glory pile, and then that way I could draw another one of these cards or that one. Or I could place it underneath one of these locations here, which means that I would destroy 2 dice, and if I do, I would get a wall token. We're going to do that because that's pretty good. So we'll put that under our subdue territories ones. Look here. There we go. So now that player 1 is selected, player 2 gets to follow and select cards as well. So their choice is they can either select both of these cards here, so they can have these 2, or they can just draw 2 random ones from the top of the deck. These aren't too shabby, to be honest with you, and I'm thinking I might just go ahead and take these. So in this case, I'm going to get 3 yellow dice and 1 blue. We're going to roll those. Put them on our player board. Man, we got a lot of dice on here already, don't we? Yep, a lot of Vikings. Now what we're going to do is decide where do we want to allocate these cards. This here tells you destroy a favor, and if you do, you're going to gain two victory points or 2 glory. This one here, just basically whenever the action is selected, you're going to be able to gain that die, that blue die on that particular side. So I think what I would like to do is probably, these are pretty tough choices. I think I am going to, I want to place this one underneath because I like that ability to probably, you know what, now we're going to actually make her a leader, and then we're going to take as a bonus for making her a leader 2 favor tokens from here. And we'll put them on our player board. Favor tokens, we'll explain how those work here in just a bit. And then with this guy here, I am thinking we don't necessarily need another die, so let's not go crazy with that. Let's just pop him down underneath here. So now, you know what, we're going to go to subdue territories. We're going to put him there. Okay. All right. So now it will be player 1's turn. So player 1 will select any one. Now they can't select that again, but they have 5 other locations that they can try to choose from. Let's see here. Oh, one thing I want to tell you too is that whenever you assign a leader to your player board, that means that there are certain dice, and in this case with the red guy, notice how he's got that little symbol right there. That tells you what you're looking for. So this little symbol here would be considered a wild, and what I mean by that is that it could represent a boat. So let me see. Let me use this one as an example. So it could represent a boat. It can represent a treasure box, which there is not a treasure box, because if you look down here, it tells you which each one of these colored dice, the sides, all 6 of the sides, what would appear on them. And in this case, red doesn't have a treasure box, but because that's a wild, it can represent a treasure box. It could represent a shield, and it can also represent a hammer. So keep that in mind whenever. So that's like when I put her there, these little tree symbols, they actually could represent any of those. So very beneficial. Can make it to where you can do a lot more actions. So she's going to go here. Now this is another free action that you can take, so you don't, it doesn't cost anything. Now what's going to happen is first we would see if our, this is nothing, this is not linked to any one of these 4 down here, okay? But the first thing that's going to happen is we are going to take the first player token, and it's going to go over to her. And now the first player is going to be able to do 3 actions. One action would be considered taking 2 favor tokens, taking 3 food, taking 2 dice, or taking one of these purple cards from either the top of the deck or any of them that are face up there. So I think what we're going to do is let's get a couple more dice. So I think we're going to grab this treasure box here and these 2 hammers. We'll place those there. And then we are going to probably take, I think we're going to take both of these cards here. So what these say is that at the end of the game, for every yellow card that I have in my glory pile, and this would be your glory pile, just basically a pile of cards you're going to make here to stack to the left of your board. For every yellow card that I would have in my glory pile, I'm going to gain 1 victory point. So at some point we're going to trade her out, get her in our glory pile, and then we're going to try to pile a bunch more yellow cards into that pile as well, so that we can really collect a lot of victory points. Now the second player, which in this case the first player, but this would be the second player, the yellow gets to follow is what I'm trying to say here, but they only get to do 1 of these actions. So Not quite as powerful, but at the same time, it can still be beneficial. And in this case, we're going to collect 3 foods. So 1, 2, and 3. So 3 food. All right. Back to yellow. So yellow, yellow, yellow. You know what? We're not going to do that after all. We're going to put those back. I'm sorry. We're going to collect 2 of these tokens from here. And we're going to do that. So you can either collect 2 dice. We're going to collect the 2 dice. And I'm going to show you exactly why. Because what I want to do with yellow now is I want to raid village. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to activate the characters in the location on our player board, raid village. That's right here all the way to the left here, okay, for each of us. So in this case, first player is going to be able to 2 times, let's look at the cards, I'll pull them out here. 2 times they are going to be able to pull out 2 cards, keep 1, discard the other, okay? Because basically you just work down, okay? So I get to do that twice with this player. So we're going to draw 2. We're going to look at them, where you're going to only keep 1 and discard the other. All right, so let's look at this one. This one is saying that you can either take a red and a yellow dice, and I believe you get to set them on any side you want. I could be wrong on that. You might have to roll them. We're just going to play that you can set them on any side that you want. I would have to double check the rules. Not really worth it. They don't have like the little star symbol, so that tells me that you probably just have to roll them. But regardless, we're just going to set them on any side we want because we're crazy. Or I could take 5 victory points, and if I do, then I have to take a terror token. Terror tokens work as blame, like in Champions of Midgard, which will be negative points at the end of the game. This one here says that I can take 2 favor tokens, and if I want, I could take another favor token, a wall token, and a terror. We're going to go with this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to discard this one, and I'm just going to put it right there at the moment, okay? So we're going to take 2 favor. Now I have the option. Do I want to do this, which would be basically like you're pillaging this village wall? And yes, I do. So I'm going to take another favor, a wall token, but the penalty is I do have to take a terror. That's not good, but we very well could get rid of them. So what are these things for? Well, there are cards in here that could give you victory points depending on how many of these tokens you have. There are farms, there are walls, and there are also towers. However, at the end of the game, you're also going to collect. So for instance, we'll look at our wall. If I have 1 to 3 wall tokens at the end of the game, they're going to be worth 2 glory at the end of the game each. Plus, if I have the most at the end of the game, they're worth 4. I get 4 bonus glory. But if I can get 6 plus wall tokens, they're worth 4 glory apiece. Do the math. So if I hit 6, 12, 18, 24, plus I have the majority, that's 28 bonus points at the end of the game. So they can add up really fast. Could be worth it. That terror, though, got to be careful of that. Now, this card here is going to go in my glory pile over here to the left. Now, we're going to do it again. So this player gets to do it again just because we are activating our Reaver cards. Now, this is considered an artifact. What this does is it can go on any one of these 4 spaces on the side of my player board. This, given the fact that it says it's a star, it's telling me that I can place any die that I want on there. And then what it's telling me is that in any space, no matter which action is being taken, some are specific. This one's saying I can get rid of any die to be able to take any die to set on any side of my choice. Plus, it's worth 4 victory points at the end of the game. And if you notice, it also just does have that little hammer right there. Okay. You know what? Now I realize it. This might be 1 victory point per artifact. Let me double check that real quick because that's kind of important. So what they did here, so this is called, they did really great on the player, this rule book. And what they did is they have the names of them. So in this case, it's called Valhalla's Champion. So what you can do in the rule book, it actually has every single one of the cards listed on here, and it tells you exactly what it does. So why don't we just look up Valhalla's Champion real quick. Oh, I was right. Gain 1 glory for every artifact card in your glory pile. So I was wrong. It is not the champions. It's these artifacts. Well, that makes a difference, you know, right? So this player needs artifacts bad. So something to think about, right? What did I do with those cards? These were not it. Where do we? Oh, we put them over here. Sorry. Okay. So this is saying this is an artifact. So those cards are giving victory points towards artifacts. Never mind what I said earlier. Okay. All right, so let's go over to this one. This one here is saying that you can either take 3 victory points, or you could take one of these tokens right here, which would count as a permanent upgrade on your ship. This would be a shield. You could spin it just like you were spinning a die, and then at the end of each round, it would refresh. I like that. We're going to take it. So we're going to discard this one. We're going to take this one, and we're going to put it into our glory pile. Now we'll look at this player. He's got the same thing, but he gets a red die, and he gets to place it on this side. But if you notice, there are no spaces on his player board to be able to hold any dice. So unfortunately, we'll just leave that in the pile there. Okay, now we can actually see if we could do this action here. So what we have to do is we have to pay 1 food and 2 treasure boxes. So we are going to use our ability of our leader, which means we're going to use the wild ability of these symbols here and make them treasure boxes, and we will spend a food. And then we are going to do, it says here, we are going to take one of these sets of cards or draw just 2 random ones from the top of the deck. Let's take this set here. Okay, so we could do this in any order we want. So in this case, I am going to either take 3 victory points, or I'm going to take a treasure box token, which I'm going to upgrade my ship with a treasure box token now. This goes into my glory pile. This one here says I get 3 food, so let's get our 3 food. 1, 2, 3. Now it's asking me, do I want to raid it for an additional food, a farm, and another Terra token? Why not? So let's get another Terra token there, and let's just terrorize everyone. So now, as first player though, because this is the bonus that you get to take 2 more cards from the top of the deck, and things just get better and better. Okay, so this one here says you can actually discard a Terror token, and then the other player gains 1, or you can gain 10 victory points and 2 Terror tokens. Let's go ahead and just send that Terror token right over to there. So there we go. And this one here, I can gain a shield, or I can gain 3 points. I'm going to gain another shield. So we'll upgrade our ship. Wow, that is awesome how quickly they were able to upgrade their ship. That is just fantastic. That was on hammer. So now let's go over to this player. They get to only take one of these chains, or they can take 2 cards from here. We know that these, remember this one here is going to give you, basically, you're going to get 2 victory points for every artifact you have at the end of the game. So we want to take this pile here just because of that. We want to get as many artifacts as we can. So let's take a look at these. This one here is saying only when you raid keeps. So that's up here. This is the raid keeps. I'm sorry, it's right here. Raid keeps, that's that action. So whenever that action happens, and if you have a shield, that's the only type of die that can be held on here, you can discard this die over here, and that would give you 2 food. It's also worth 3 victory points at the end of the game. So we're going to take this, we're going to assign it to the side of our board right here, just like that. And if we want it, it counts as an extra space available to you, which is really nice. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that even though these symbols here count as wild to this player on their yellow, because they have a yellow leader, this would not be able to be placed on there. You have to have that symbol to be able to place it on there, okay? All right, so this one here, we're going to get 3 food. Now it's asking me if I want to be able to rate it for that additional food, which we will. And we will take the terror and the farm. All right. And we will place that all up here in a big fat pile. There we go. Let's put that in our glory pile as well. Okay, so now we're going to go back to player 1, and they are going to select one of these actions to take. Let's see. So if we got plenty of food, so we could go up there and kill a monster. That would be fun. In fact, that could be really good too, because that one's worth 19 points. I do like points. I think we could probably take it too, to be honest with you, because we've got a lot of hammers to be able to fight with. It's tough to say if I want to do that or not. The other thing we can do is we could do the raid keeps, which would not trigger this because I got to have a die on there for that. But it would trigger that. Or we can go up here and we can subdue some territories, which we've got a lot of food and everything to be able to do that with. I like that idea. Let's subdue some territories. So we're going to do, bam, subdue some territories. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look on our player boards. This player over here would be able to take a die of that color and place it on that side, but they do not have any space available, and unfortunately they're gonna, I mean, they could take it and replace one, but in this case I don't see a reason for that. I'm pretty content with what we got. Now this player over here says they can discard any 2 dice of their choice, and if they do, they're going to gain a wall tile. We are going to do that. We're going to get rid of these 2 here, and we're going to gain another wall tile and place it right there. Now we go up here, and the way that this one works is that you just have to pay these types of resources. So if you notice, red costs food, purple will cost dice, and the green here is going to cost favor tokens. All right, so they're listed at the top. So like the level 1 will cost you 1 favor, the level 3 costs you 3, and that's the same for food and for dice. Okay, so the first player to select this gets to do this 3 times. The second player can only do it once though, okay? Now these territories are beneficial because they can count as victory points between every single round, and I'll explain what I mean by that. Now, if you're curious as to what's on each one of those, this game is so phenomenally, I'm just so pleased with how much they allow you to see of this game. And what I mean by that is that the level 1 red ones, it tells you, it costs you 1 food. These are the types of benefits you're going to get whenever you subdue them. So you're either going to get a dice and a favor, or a dice and two victory points. And list every single one of them. So like if you got too much of the terror, well, you want to probably try to do the level 3 of the bluish green ones, because there's a chance you're going to get a dice and be able to remove a terror token. So they give you all the information you need for this game, and I'm so pleased with how they did that, because you don't have to look it up in the rule book all the time. It's all out here for you. So all right, what do we want to do? So what I'm thinking we're going to do is we got tons of food. So let's see, the level 3 food ones are pretty powerful. Let's do that. So let's spend 3 food. All right, so we're going to spend that. Now, if I wanted to, I could fight this token instead. And what I mean by that is it's got a defense of 3, so I could fight it with the dice I have here. Or I can just do what I did, peacefully subdue it, and that's by paying the food cost. And that's what I just decided to do. So there's 2 ways. I will demonstrate the other way here in a second. So now what we do is we turn it over. This one says that I am going to get a card from the top of here. All right, so this says that I'm going to get a blue and a red die. So we're going to grab a blue and a red die from over here. But unfortunately, we can't place them on our player board. Probably should have gotten rid of some dice first, huh? Now, if we wanted to, though, we could replace other ones. I don't see a reason to be honest with you. So, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to take those. Now, what this is saying here on this spot is that it has a defense of 3, and if I am able to destroy this tower, I will get 3 victory points and a tower token. So, to be able to do that, I have to get rid of dice that have hammers on them. Yellow is the only player that has 2 hammers, so in this case, I'm going to get rid of both of these dice. That's going to give me 4 of these black dice to be able to do combat with, okay? I need 3 successes to be able to beat this. So, let's roll these. I got 1, 2, 4, 5 total successes, which is enough. So what this is saying now is I get 3 victory points and a tower token. So let's get a tower token right here. We're going to put that in our little pile right here. And we're going to move blue up 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. And hopefully you can see that up there. If not, just know that blue got 3 victory points. So now we're going to put that in our pile. Now, because I did, so we're going to do the card first, and then we're going to say we took the 2 dice. So let's grab our blue and our red die, right? So I think we're going to just place these on any side that we choose. And in this case, we are going to place, let's go with red with a boat, and let's go with red with a boat again. How does that sound? Like, oh, I'm sorry, this is a blue one. So blue does not have any boat symbols. That's how they get you. So let's go with a shield. In fact, you know what? Let's go 2 shields instead. Let's do 2 shields like that. I'm trying to remember, did I pay? I don't think when we did yellow that I spent the dice and the food to pay whenever he did the action. I apologize for that. So let me put that over there. Sorry about that. So everybody has to pay that cost, not just the first player. So the food, the 2 treasure chests. they had them. So, okay, so now this tile here is just going to stay, and I'll explain a little bit more about that tile here in just a second. So now what I do is I am going to do it again. So I get to do this 2 more times. Let's do, I'll tell you what, let's get rid of 1 die, and we will take this level 1 purple and we'll subdue it. Now we're going to get a favor and 2 food in exchange. So let's grab our favor and our 2 food. Food, food, and favor. Okay. All right. Now we get to do it 1 more time. Let's see. We got tons of food, so let's just do 1. You know what? I told you I would do it the other way just to show you how that works. So let me do that, okay? We're going to fight one. So let's fight this one right here, okay? It's got a defense of 3, so I have to come up with 3 hammers total on the combat dice to be able to defeat it. So I'm going to discard both of these, so that's 3 total hammers. We're going to use this as a wild as a hammer, so that's 4 total hammers. That'd be good. So 4 total hammers. We're going to roll 4 dice. I have to come up with 3 successes to be able to defeat it. More than enough. So now I basically you either pay that or you defeat him with combat. We defeat it with combat. I get a purple and a yellow. So let's look at our yellow and a purple. So you could do these. All right, so we kind of needed one of these, right? So we can either take 3 victory points or we could take this ship upgrade. We're going to take that ship upgrade. I love those things. And this one here is saying 1 victory point at the end of the game for every, well, in this case, perfect. Every one of those type of tiles that you have. So, okay, so let's head over to here. So this player now, they don't have to, once again, doesn't have to pay anything up front. You just pay as you're subduing, but they can only do it 1 time. They've got a ton of favor tokens. So, and they got a ton of food. So, let's do 3 food. 1, 2, 3. Well, what to give us dice? Yeah, this will work. All right, let's take one of these. All right, so 2 victory points, and you get a Reaver card. So it's 2 victory points and a Reaver card. So whenever you take a Reaver card, you immediately get this die. You'll roll it, place it on your player board, and now you're going to decide where you want to do it. You want to put it as a leader? Do you want to put it down here? You want to discard so that you could try to get some stuffy stuff? Tell you what, let's put her here. We're going to put him in our glory pile. And then whenever you put a yellow card here, you get 2 favor tokens. So let's grab 2 favors, place them there. All right, that would end the round. Now what we do at the end of the round, you will get victory points for each one of these territories you've subdued. So in this case, blue's going to get 3, 1, 2, 3. Yellow's going to get 1. And we are now going to replace cards in each one of these locations. So in this case, we're going to flip 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to get rid of this one. We're going to put 3 new ones out. 1, 2, 3. We are going to take more dice. We're going to put them in each one of these locations. We're going to put cards out here again. It's a lot of blue. All blue. My goodness. Okay. We are going to replace these with new cards. Everything gets fresh. Everything's new. Nothing stays the same. All these go away. Put new ones out here. Okay. This would stay the same. And we would move the marker to round 2. And we would do everything we just did again in a new round. So that's basically how the game works. If you want to stick around and see how this game would do for end scoring, I totally encourage you to do that. But if that gave you a good idea of how this game works, cool, man. Then I would say skip ahead to final scoring, which will be towards the end of the video so that you get an idea. But we are going to continue playing out the game, okay? So round 2, this will be first player over here with blue, and I'm not going to have to quite explain as much, I don't think, now that we kind of got a feel for what we're doing. Let's see. So blue does need more artifacts because remember, they have that card that's going to give them victory points per artifact. So this would be a good spot, but they don't have 2 treasure boxes, unfortunately. So why don't we head up here real quick and let's see if we can't get some treasure boxes somehow. Now we got a treasure box there. Yellow would be a wild for them. Yeah, we're gonna need treasure boxes, unfortunately. So let's go here. So boop, just like that. Blue is on the board. Now they're going to be able to do this action 3 times. Now they do have the first player token, but even if as soon as you select that, it moves. So it's going to go over to the other player, unfortunately. So all right, so let's see. They're going to take 3 cards. This one here would give you 1 victory point for every treasure card you have. There are treasure cards, they're located over here. That's where you would find them. This one here gives you 1 victory point for every purple that you territory that you subdue. And this one here for every blue territory that you subdue. And if I remember correctly, did I not already have one of those? I did. So why don't we take this right here and we'll get another one of those. So that was 1 action. Let's take a couple of more. Let's take this pair here and these 2 here. All right, so that was the 3 actions. Let's head over to here, and they are going to only select 1 action, and they're going to take this card here. All right, so now yellow is going to take an action. They're going to go here. They're going to gain 2 favor because they're the person who selected that location, and now they're going to take a pile of cards. They want this pile here, and that's going to give them 3 blue dice. So 3 blue dice, and we'll put those on our player board. And now we decide what we want to do. I'm going to take this one here, place it down here again. So now we have 3 cards. Whenever that's selected, they are just going to clean up. Now you can't put any more than 3 though, that's it. This one here gives you 2 food every time you do something. So let's put that at Battle at Sea because you need food every time you go to Battle at Sea. I like that. So that's taken care of for them. Blue is going to select some, let's see. They will take 2 from the top. So they're going to get, you know what? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so, oh, these are actually pretty good now that I look at them. So they are going to put both of these. They're not going to, I mean, there are dice, but we're not going to worry about that they would collect. We're going to take this one and we're going to put it, let's see. We're going to put it here for raid keeps. So let's put it right here. And this one here, we're just going to put it for the Battle at Sea. So no matter which one of these 4 are selected, this player is going to be able to do a little something. Okay, so let's go over to this player here, and let's do, I think we're going to raid the keeps, to be honest with you. So we have 2 shields. Yes, we do. 2 food. Let's do it. So, boop, they're going to do this. And that's going to, first, you're going to activate your cards. So they are going to get a die that has that little bird symbol on it. Now they're going to be able to draw 2 cards from the top of the deck. Keep one, discard the other. Okay, so this is, basically these are set collections. So armor, treasure. So depending on how many of these types of cards you have, that's how many victory points you're going to get. And sometimes you want to look at your purple cards to see if you're going to get bonus points for having any of them. In this case, he does not have any. Remember, that's what this was right here. 1 victory point per treasure. Let's go. Yeah, let's just go treasure. Yeah, let's go armor. Okay, so this one will be discarded. We'll just put it at the bottom of the deck. All right, now this player here has no cards for raid keeps. Now we pay 2 food and 2 shields. 2 food, 2 shields. And 2 shields, 2 food. Now both players have paid. So you're asking a question, you're saying, so what happens if you can't pay the cost, right? Well, then you got to rest. And whenever you rest, you can, you take, what is it? I think 2 or 3 food. I think it's 2 food. And, or you could take 1 die of your choice and set it on any side of your player, on your player board as you like, any color. So now, what this player is going to do is they get to select any one of these pairs, or they can draw 2 random from the top, and then they get to draw 2 random from the top again, because they are the person who chose this action. So what we are going to do is we're going to take this set right here. So tapestries. The way tapestries work, this is a red tapestry. You want to set collect the different colors. There are 3 different colors. So if you can get the yellow and the blue, you're going to get 15 victory points at the end of the game. So this one here, you're going to get a red and a yellow die. We're going to set yellow to the double hammer. And come on, where you at? There we go. And then red, let's set red to shield. Okay. No, treasure box. No, he doesn't have treasure boxes, so let's do shield. Okay. All right, so now 3 total defense. We did this last time, remember? So we're going to discard. We'll do all 4 of these dice here to get 4 to combat with. I need to have at least 3 successes. I do. That's going to give me 3 points and a tower. So 1, 2, 3, and a tower. All right, now because this is the first player to go, he also gets 2 cards from the top. And it's another red tapestry, unfortunately. You need different colors. All right, so to favor. Okay, and what this is saying now, I don't think I have anything to fight with now, unfortunately. It's got 2 defense. If you win, you get a favor and a wall. I do not have any hammers here to fight with. Oh, I do. 1 hammer right here. Let's do it. Oh, I can do it technically. All right, well, let's see if we get lucky. I got to roll 2. I only got 1. So what I can do is discard a favor. There's 1 double hammer on here. Yeah, let's try. We'll gamble. It worked. All right, look at that. So that's going to give us a favor and a wall. So let's grab another favor back and a wall. So just like that, and a favor. All right. So we'll go back over to player 2, and now they get to do this. They can either take these here, or they can draw 2 from the top. They are going to take these. So that's a tapestry. It's a yellow one. And then this is a red and a blue die. And let's see, they'll put the blue on a treasure box, and they'll put the red on a hammer. Okay, and actually the blue will go on a hammer, and the red's going to go on a boat. Okay, all right. Now 3 defense. So let's see. We would have to get rid of 1, 2, and then we can do 3. So that's 3 right there. Did not succeed, but we can get rid of a favor. So reroll any number of dice for choice. There we go. So that's 3. So 3 victory points and a tower. So 1, 2, 3, and a tower. Just like that. And you put this in your discard pile. All right. Put those over there. Now we go to yellow. Yellow, 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 yellow. You know, blue really should have went here instead, but that's okay. We're not going to worry about that because yellow going to do it. So yellow's going to do this. I was going to go up here and fight monsters. I'm not going to worry about that at the moment. So raid villages. So first we look at our cards, and yellow is going to clean up here. This is why this is a great spot for them to go. So draw 2 cards. We are going to do this one, so that's 3 food. And then we can do a food, a farm, and a terror. We're going to do that. Okay. This one will be discarded. We're going to do it again because we have 3 of these guys down here. Whew, that's a good one. It's worth 4 victory points too. We're going to keep this one. So we'll set it kind of like that just so you guys can see it. We'll discard that. Do it again. So we'll keep this one right here. That'll only happen at Battle at Sea. Let's go over to him. Whenever we do raid villages, he gets a red die that goes onto that side right there. Okay. All right. So now each of us would have to pay 1 food and 2 shields. So we have 2 shields right here. I'm sorry, 2 treasure boxes. 1 treasure box, 2 treasure box, and then 1 food. Let's see over here. Did I not? So they don't have 2 treasure boxes, do they? Nope. Only 1 treasure box, unfortunately. So that means that they will not be able to do it, so they're going to have to rest. And they're going to just take a die, and they'll take a yellow and put it on that side right there for them. Okay. Because unfortunately they're not going to be able to participate in this action because they could not pay the cost. All right, so yellow is going to take this chain right here, which is going to give them 2 blue, a red, and a yellow. So 2 blue, a red, and a yellow. We will put the yellow on that side. We will put the blue. We'll get a treasure box, and then we are going to take. We'll put this one on a hammer, and we'll put this one on a hammer as well. Okay. Now we can decide to take basically a total of 10 points and 2 terror. Actually, no, it's either the dice or that. Sorry. Not both. Now they get to also take 2 cards from the top because they are the person who selected this action. Okay, so this will just be placed here to the side as an artifact. You can only hold 4 total artifacts, 2 on this side, 2 that side. Anytime you get additional ones, you can discard artifacts you have, put them over in your discard pile, and then you can keep them in your glory pile for endgame victory points. Okay, so 3 food. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go ahead and take the other food. We will take the farm and the terror. All right. And then we'll put that over there. All right, so that would end round 2. Now, once again, we are going to do the cleanup phase, which means yellow would get 1 point, and then blue would get 3 points because of their territories. And then what we're going to do is we're going to end the game right here. I know I said to go ahead and play through all of them, but truthfully, I think you guys kind of got a hang of this, all right? And what I want to show you is how this game would work for end-game scoring. So in-game scoring, and I am going to open this up so that I don't forget. The first thing you would do is you would trigger your terror. So in this case, yellow would have 3 terror. 3 terror would count as -6 glory. So -6 glory. So that's going to put them down to 1 point. And then this player has 2 terror, which would be -3 glory. So 1, 2, 3. Next, we are going to do artifacts. You gain the amount of glory depicted on the card. So in this case, glory is listed right here. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 points for yellow. And he would get 3 points. So 1, 2, 3. Next, it would be the spoil cards. So what you would do is you would set them aside. The spoil cards would be... Hang on. It's these... cards. I don't know if he's got any. There we go. These right there. So in this case, he's got 1 tapestry, so he's going to gain 2 victory points. Let's see how many he's got over here. Okay. All right. So we've got 2 tapestries, but unfortunately they're the same color, and we've got 1 armor. So in this case, you would get 2, 4, 5 total points. So 5 points for blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So now you would do the tokens with the farms on the wall. So let's start with farms. This player has 3. This player has 1. So yellow would get a bonus. 1, 2, 3 points for having the majority. Now each one of his tokens, 1 to 3 farms, is 1 glory each. So yellow will get 3 more points. Blue would get 1. So 1, 2, 3. Now we'll work down to the walls. Once again, yellow has the majority, so that's 4 bonus victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1 to 3 walls is 2 glory apiece, so 2 for blue and 6 for yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, now the towers, he has none. You get 5 bonus points for having a majority, and you would get 3 points for each one of those with between 1 and 3. So Let me show you a little bit closer. Makes sense? So 1 to 3 towers is 3 glory points each. If you had 4 to 5, they'd be 4, up to 5 glory each. So first, giving us bonus 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there were 3 apiece. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Let's see. Let's work down the list. Prophecies. Prophecies are these cards here. So let's see. Okay, that's all he's got. So he is going to get 1 victory point for each art. He does not have any art, so no victory points. And then 1 for each purple territory that they conquered. They did 1, so that's 1 point for yellow. Now, let's look over here. He's got a bunch more. Okay, so that's the artifacts. And obviously, if this game would have continued, we would have collected a lot more cards. And it'd be a lot more scoring, but I think you guys got the hang of it at this stage. It's a pretty simple game. All right, so for each blue or purple territory you conquered, 1 victory point each, so that's 2 points. And then for each artifact you would get 2 points because I have 2 of those cards. So that's 4 total points for blue. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the player with the most glory becomes the leader of the world. So there we go. That would be the end of the game. Remember, this would have went over the course of 6 total rounds. Now let me demonstrate it real fast just how you would defeat a monster, okay, before we end this, because that's the one action I never did do, and I want you guys to see how this works. So the first thing you would do is you'd go here and you would pay the cost. That in this case it would be 4 food. Now, just like in Champions of Midgard, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to have to deal with some sort of a random encounter you're not even aware of. So in this case, I flipped this over. You would either have to discard this die from your player board, or you suffer the consequence. And in this case, you would discard a treasure box. But if you can't, you're going to discard 2 food instead. That's the penalty, okay? Now, you're going to fight a monster. And you get your choice of either one of the monsters. Down at the bottom tells you the spoils. So in this case, it would give you 2 food and 8 victory points. This one would give you a 1 favor and 19 victory points. Now, there are 2 ways to defeat it, just like with the encounter you just had before this. If you have 2 boats, 1 hammer, 1 of the hawkish looking things, and 1 banner die face on your player board, discard those dice, you beat him, and you get this. Otherwise, just like when we were defeating those walls and those tower tokens and everything, you would have to defeat his defense value of 5. So you discard dice that have hammer icons on them. You get the black dice, you roll them. If you get 5, you have defeated, and you get that bonus, okay? Same thing, okay? That's just, and whoever goes here first would actually get 2 glory points just for selecting this location. That is the game, folks. Sorry we didn't play an entire game, but I don't really see a reason for it. I think you guys are getting the gist of it. And the problem with this game here and trying to film the entire thing is it's going to keep expanding, and that's really difficult to keep on camera for you guys. So hopefully this gave you a great understanding, though. What do I think of this? Wow, what a game. They did a great job. This is a lot of fun. Now, what I enjoy about games like this is that it keeps everybody interested. Even if it's not your turn, you're interested in what's taking place, because not only are you going to be able to try to follow and get the depending on what action's selected in here, to be able to get the benefits from the cards you place down here, which that's another thing I want to talk about. But then on top of that, you're going to be able to follow the leader and be able to take cards or the benefits of whatever's taking place, tiles or monsters, and defeating them. I think that's just phenomenal. Nobody's just going to be goofing around and playing on their phone. You're going to be really wanting to pay attention to what the other players are doing so that you can follow up and you can take advantage of whatever action they selected. Being able to assign these cards in 3 different ways is just awesome. I love that so much. I think placing them down here, and if you can get these types of cards like this, these are so good. I love these cards. They're probably my favorites because you're just getting free stuff for nothing, man. And really starting to build up your pile of resources and everything. But being able to assign them down there or assign them here to where now that the dice that match the little symbol on their cards count as wild, plus you get little extra bonuses, or put them in your glory pile and getting extra dice to be able to recruit more. So many different ways to use the cards. So many different actions you could take on the board. It's never a dull moment. I love this game. I think it's fantastic. Do I like it more in Champions? I don't know. I have no reason to ever pick one over the other. it's one of those situations where if it's like, you want to play Reavers, I'm going to play Reavers. You want to play Champions? I'll play Champions. I don't really care. Love them both. I do think Champions does need the expansion of Valhalla to be able to make it more interesting, whereas this one, I think, as itself, just is super fun. Plays well with just 2 players. Amanda and I have had a lot of fun playing this. And you know what, while we're just talking about it, why don't I just show you? It is 2-sided board. So if you're playing on this side, this is the 2-player version of it. And let's make a big old mess here. Let's get this crap off, and let's flip this board over just so that you can see the other side of it. Oh yeah, big mess. I like making messes. All right. And now it makes more sense how this works with more players. See how much extra spaces there are available on the player board. And my girlfriend's daughter just came home. She's playing music. Sorry you hear that. But see, there's like extra spaces here that are opened up. And depending on if you have playing with 3 or 4, you'd fill up this spot here. But much more action spaces available. But anyways, that's the game, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do me a favor, leave a like if you enjoyed this, leave a comment, that would help as well. And if you haven't yet, man, subscribe to the channel. So encouraging, so awesome. I appreciate you guys' support more than you know. And you know, as usual, thanks for watching. We'll have some more videos coming up in the future. And hey, stay awesome.